quite strong. He's getting stronger and stronger, and the more he does, the more he seems to enjoy it. He's really someone I don't want to fight, a physically imposing person. That's what I think. He's tall with long limbs. If you get hit with a punch, it's a powerful punch. What do you think of him as a versatile boxer?
That.
I think everyone is working hard. They're doing something we can't even imagine, aren't they? How do you feel about going up to the feather class? I always think that the strength of Naoya Inoue will be disturbed. Ah, I see. At this point, who do you think is better, Tenshin or Takei? Wow, Takei's punches are strong, aren't they? It's scary. I was really born and raised to be a martial artist. I've never done anything else. I've never even held a pencil. Isn't it impossible to break through everything at once? But I'm living a life where I have to. I want to know how far I can go. What can I become? If I really do it every day, how far can I dream? How far can I achieve? I want to know a little bit. Are you listening? Specifically, about 10 kilos. Are you going to lose 10 kilos, right? Usually I'm about 57 kilos. About 57 kilos now. How much do you think? I've lost about 5 kilos. And in about a month, if I can get down to another 5 kilos by the time March comes, I'm the type who can do quite a bit of water cutting, right? It's a strain. It's a challenge, isn't it? How much I can cut by March, or the part that I couldn't cut, about 2 kilos left, will all go to water cutting, but how much of it? Reducing further is challenging. Cutting more water is difficult from this point. 3 is somewhat tough.
It's tough.
I want to lose more than 2 kilos. My feeling is that I want to lose a little more than 2 kilos, suppress water retention. The more I lose, the more I feel a significant sense of accomplishment. And I don't eat much, so that's how it is. Do you not have a strong appetite for things like back-to-back asparagus? No, not at all, not at all. So you don't gain weight, right? Yes, that's right. But let me tell you. The weight of an adult male is about 57, which is about my height. It's not like I'm out of control and at that weight. I always have the impression that I'm keeping my shape, right? It's a bit cool.
Younger brother.
Is your younger brother not very good at cooking either? When will he be able to cook? He's always a bit sloppy. But you should be aware that I'm saying this because in the gym, it's the seniors who stand out. If you don't think the juniors are cool, then...
So,
I'm a little concerned about the user interface. It's quite Japanese in culture, isn't it? It's quite difficult to say. When you gain a little weight, people often comment on it saying, "You've gained weight, haven't you?" That's what I've heard. Filipinos tend to take quite a bit of time off. I was sent to the Philippines for a training camp recently, and even those who have matches scheduled are mostly people who are quite overweight. But even so, they tend to lose weight quite quickly. Like they're the type to drop water weight all at once. I felt that a bit when I was in the Philippines. There were people who thought it would be better to lose weight gradually. Recently, there's this boxer named Kashimero who's been fighting in Japan, hasn't he? There were photos of him with a protruding belly even 2 months before the match. When Tabales faced Naoya Inoue in the ring, he appeared to be quite round. It seems that people in the Philippines tend to gain a significant amount of weight. Americans also tend to be quite big, like Davis in their everyday life, don't they? When they're preparing for a match, they slim down, but once it's over, they balloon up like different people. That's why it's important to have self-control and live a proper lifestyle. But I love eating too much, even if I say I don't like it. I love it. I love sweets. I love sweets. I guess you love sweets too. The amount I eat is astronomical. Though I eat less after ingredients or matches due to tension, I need to rebound a bit afterward. I do rebound, but I'm aware of it and I'm a little tense.
I do. So,
I'm always aware of it, but that's the reality of being the world champion.
it's a job.
Why? Yes, certainly that's the case, but even if you say it in words, it's difficult to actually do it, isn't it? The players all know this, but it's hard to say, I'm going to bulk up, isn't it? It's about how much you can be strict with yourself, isn't it? I wonder if this is also good, to some extent. Let's quickly shoot the intro. Welcome to Kakuto Cats. Today we have a very special guest in the studio. It's the great player Shuko. We look forward to your cooperation. It's nerve-wracking to shoot our first face-to-face meeting, right? I'm nervous too. Really? I guess I have to show you something interesting, but it's our first face-to-face meeting. So it's like a ping-pong exchange, right? That's a bit fun. Please be kind to me. The shooting day is March 21st. Sorry, it's actually February 21st. So the release date will probably be in mid-March. If the story is a bit different from the current situation, please forgive me. Please be kind to me. If you listen to this, you might wonder why, but it's almost the day after tomorrow for player Kiyonosuke. Aren't you going to do it? I think the match will be over by the time this comes out. I find it interesting. There's a lot of talk about who will win or lose, but I have the impression that if it's a normal match, Neri will just win. But isn't it interesting if it's not a normal match, right? How many times? Today's skaters trial. I'm allowed to watch it directly, so I know the strength of Michiron, but I'm not going to go into detail about boxing. I'll just say it's like boxing. Despite being a martial artist, he says he doesn't watch martial arts because it's a devil's job. There are several types like that who don't watch it at all. But I understand. There are also great otaku martial artists who avoid seeing it. However, I think it's better to watch it. I guess it's probably better to see it, but the line between work and private life becomes blurred to the point where I can't tell the difference. That's how it is. When you say a Psycho Fight team along with a Kaiorusuke player, what is that? I see. So are you the type to watch your friends' matches or acquaintances' matches? If they are really my friends, I will watch, but I will also cheer them on. Today's opponent is not a friend. Boo boo. Not a friend. We're not friends. I refuse to see it. It's as if I can't see it. I have no interest in it at all. No, I mean, I do support it. I think it's great that they're passionate about it. But I don't think I'd go out of my way to cheer them on or anything like that. I'm not really into this melodramatic soap opera. I don't follow it that much. I don't know anything about it, really. I mostly do videos where I predict the outcomes of matches. For example, if there's a foreign player I like, who's playing against a Japanese player, I'll say in my comments that I like this foreign player. The person himself. It's really warm, isn't it? In this Kyoto snow scene, there are many Japanese people who support Nelly, right? Nelly, yes, that Nelly. It's surprising to me that the day has come when Nelly, who has gained weight by being pulled in by doping and surpassed the Japanese hero, Shinsuke Yamanaka, is supported by the Japanese people. Isn't it? There's a story that Kyonosuke is greatly disliked. Even though he's already disliked, he's likely to be disliked a bit more. You could say he's a character. Because he's going to be disliked, it's something else, and he probably thinks it's okay. The people who speak ill of him, the people around him, are more so. I wonder what I think, though. Well, I find it odd that there's nothing strange about the fixed concept of just wanting to drink. Kyoto Noda. 直接 towards. So I want to support the opposition, but I don't understand it well. I don't understand it well either. I can't do it. On the contrary, at the press conference face-off, Neri tries to binta. And on the contrary, the practice of trying to binta is not bad. I think it's like that. It's a skill, isn't it? I think I can attract people in such a way. It's really like that. I'm told to do it because I want to stand out, but I can't do it because I'm told to stand out. I can't do it. I'm told to do it, but I don't do it. I'm quite the type to have my own issues, so I don't get distracted. I think I'm the type who stands out quite a bit without making such actions or statements. I think it's good to use it to the fullest, like doing it with my brother or Nari's or this era or Yapari or to broadcast myself. I think it's better to see the video of Bokusing that I just mentioned. And I think it's better to see such things, but I don't want to be caught in particular. I hate being a little troublesome, and I also want to make meaningful use of my private time to see that boxing. If you're going to watch a boxing video, it's before practice. Practice? The practice is with that motivation before practice. At home. Go home, have dinner, watch a boxing video, then go to bed. Even if I go to the adrenaline, I'm tired, right? I'm always thinking about it, so in my mind, there's quite a bit of that. I wonder how much it's being done. It's just Instagram, just Instagram, just Instagram. I see. What do you think about such materials? Please tell me, honestly, it's a bit troublesome, isn't it? Before matches, I don't get too nervous. However, in my early 20s when I became a pro and won titles like the Asia Pacific and Japan Championships, I felt more pressure. Seriously, why? I can't do anything other than boxing.
Huh?
I thought so, but recently I've started to think that it's simple to say something. But it's not that simple anymore, is it? To go through all of this. I've been able to think about whether I grow as a person by doing all the boxing practice and everything else. Saying also quite forward-looking. For example, even though this Monday is called a reality, I want to concentrate on such a match, but I honestly have it. But I'm also reducing it, and I can't eat rice, but I think it's simple to say no. Overcome even the match, ride, overcome everything. You seem quite positive. There's a bit of a gap between that and your appearance, surprisingly.
Is intention
Positively outside. I guess I was bad at speaking. And even though there is a gap between the appearance and the reality, I think it's often said well, so I think I'm used to it. I'm not sure how to put it, but I don't have a good way of speaking, but I feel a bit Yankee, or I feel a bit gritty, don't I? That's probably Kyushu. Birthplace, is that so? Because it's my real birthplace, that's a bit something. Yes, I smell like the countryside, I love it. My mom is a farmer, that's why. Yesterday, I was just a player in the game, but I'm out there in the world. There's a guy named Wakamatsuyu, he was from Shikajima. He had a wild vibe to him. He loved the hustle and bustle. That's why he got into martial arts. That's the type of guy he was, apparently. Or when I was young, I was quite like that. Gradually, that's how it is. I've been doing martial arts since I was about 15, and I've been living a life of martial arts. I started with karate, but I did karate until I was about a third-year middle school student. I started boxing in 5th grade and began competing in 6th grade. After school, I went to practice every single day, without fail. I didn't have time to make a fuss. I don't have time to make a fuss. Now, breaking down.
I knew that.
To the end. What would you say is good about a breakdown player? It's said that making a fuss is commendable. Or self. We live in an era where it's considered cool to be slow. Seeing that, what do you think of it? Even people who are professional fighters and do things like breaking down, I think there are places where they are doing it properly, but I think it's good. The upbringing and environment, the environment in which they were raised and born are different, so there are people who became delinquents and couldn't get a grip, and there are such people. For example, I was able to box because there was a boxing gym nearby, and my parents let me do it, so I've been boxing up to this point. But there are definitely people who don't have such circumstances, who become delinquents or who go astray. Isn't it like a mountain? A handful of those people are doing it, appearing in the media and chasing their dreams. They're not just anything, they're becoming something. Isn't it? That's a respectable and clear way of thinking. The reason I started boxing was because my parents were doing it, and I felt like I had to do it too. I wasn't interested until then. It's like, oh, I see. Karate was also quite intense, with full contact. I participated in tournaments. Before, it was Kyokushin, wasn't it? Yes, it was Kyokushin. When I became an elementary and middle school student, I was short. But we were divided by grade, so there were no ranks. You know, I was fighting against much taller guys. I was fighting with Gin, but as we grew up, there were ranks in boxing. Probably a father-like figure said something like that. I started boxing because I thought I could definitely win against someone of the same physique as me. I started from a very young age, from kickboxing. I was a little able to do boxing, but my parents were more into it than I was. However, my parents were not boxers. I went to a boxing gym and they taught me.
Yes.
Well, we didn't do anything at all, but if we say we're going to practice hard, we'll go. The ones who say we are me and my younger brother. If Jinjiro gets results and keeps going, it becomes fun. There were times when I, as a parent, wanted to quit, but if Gin says he wants to quit, well, it's not like that. It's not like that. There were plenty of times when I wanted to quit everything, even karate and boxing. It was just hard and I just wanted to play. From such an age, I was seriously into boxing. If I had done karate, I wouldn't have become a child. There's something like that. So if you retire, you'll regret it. The time to play is gradually disappearing, isn't it? I guess that's how it is. I'm also a bit serious about it. I don't want to be careless. I can say that I absolutely don't want to be in such a cycle.
Well,
When I become a child, I can't help but want to be a boy. I want to spend time becoming a boy and gather with the boys I want. Playing games is necessary, don't you think? Do you like games? I love games. If you practice from afternoon to night after school, you don't have time to play with your friends, do you? When that happens, you get games from your parents.
It's empty.
Because it's good to play games when you have free time, so you run in the morning and practice at night, so it's quite a game upbringing, isn't it? Games are not dangerous. I also loved games when I was a young child. Whether it becomes a life or it becomes another life. Leveling up and all sorts of things. I like mission-based games. That's why I can't think of anything else but wanting to turn that into my life. I played 4 or 5 hours daily, so it wasn't dangerous. However, I was so addicted that I couldn't focus on anything else. But it's fun, isn't it? I've always been doing karate and boxing with my younger brother, so I've been quite active, so... Are you close? You're close, aren't you? We're close, but sometimes we're told we're really close. But we're not that close.
Good intention.
There is a sense of distance between me, my younger brother, and my older brother. But we've been doing the same thing for decades, about 20 years. We go out to eat together like normal brothers. If he's closer to his brothers, he hasn't mentioned it, and neither have I. We don't really go out to eat just the two of us, do we? It's not like we don't do anything, right? No. Something... If there were 3 of them, or a third person, and a younger brother, it would be totally possible. But if it's 3 friends, it's possible, but it's not normal to go out to eat with your younger brother, right? It's not normal, right? I mean, when? Your brother's chances are slim. Is that true, Brother Fukai? Yeah, Brother Fukai. Yeah, we always invite you to eat together at Yanyan, but you always refuse, don't you, Fukai? We always come with our 2 kids to Yanyan. Ah, I see. You always refuse, don't you, Yanyan? Ah, I see.
Yes, that's right.
It's outside, isn't it? Yanyana, was it your younger brother? Why are you in a parka from time to time? Today feels like a deep, invisible well. I won't elaborate further. Yeah. Nyanyan, iya, nyanyan. What? That's not a good relationship with Mechakucha. When you say good friends, it's the same. We are good friends, but I'm also an older brother, and there is a sense of distance with my younger brother, you know? I think there is a little. I'm already a child and a family man, and I'm alone. So there's a bit of a difference. Lifestyle. Structure. Compared to him, I have some free time, but I'm still living a bit of a self-indulgent lifestyle. It's nice because it's nice, but there's not much fuss, even if there isn't. You're probably nicer than his brother, right? I feel like I've noticed something now. I definitely think you're nicer than his brother. As much as that, there's nothing to bump into, right? No, not really. Well, when we were little, we all had our moments, but since we've grown up, it's been fine.
Sleepy.
Yes, it's when that disappears, and we can communicate, exchanging words without any quarrels. We can tell each other about the things we dislike, or the things we want to fix. We can become able to do such things without any quarrels. And so, we became good friends. Isn't it? So, you don't get all sparkly at once? When you do get sparkly, it's not like it's noisy, but it gets a bit annoying, right?
More.
When you say which, it's me though. Would it be better to practice other things to become stronger? I already know how to fight, and we're both sources, and I'm a source too, so rather than sparring with a source opponent, I feel like I'm sparring with my younger brother. I guess I'm not doing anything at all. It may not be sensible to proceed with it.
I see.
We're in the same class, right? We were both in the minimum class. And we've been hit by each other before, but we both want to become champions in the same class. So, if we both get the belt, for example, if Nayeon younger brother gets it, if Nihon Yuta gets it, what will we do? Is there a unification match or something? No. It's too early. In the near future, there are things to do in this class. I have to win. There are unbeatable players, and there are guys I want to fight. I guess we won't have a long career in boxing. Even if I move up to flyweight, my younger brother will likely continue at minimum weight. I think I'll move up to light flyweight. A unification match between us is definitely out of the question, no matter what, right? We won't ever fight each other, will we? Each. Is that so? For example, if both of us could earn that much money without boxing for the rest of our lives, if the situation warranted it, then perhaps yes. Well, even then it's impossible. I love the octave. Yes. Is that so? You can't beat me with an octave, right? Well, no. Please excuse me for a moment. You're kind, aren't you? I'm just ordinary. But I think I can do it because I'm kind. Isn't boxing a dangerous sport? I think I can teach you about 20 rounds of it. Even if you try it once with this, you can live a safe and happy life. If you do that, it's okay to be violent once. Well, something like that. I'm 27 years old now, but I'm 27 years old and I'm still boxing. Or there's a little more martial arts life left, or there's none left. I can't see the end, no matter how long I keep doing it. I've been living a boxing life, but now that I'm an adult, I want to do it for a little longer. I think I've become like that after all. Even if I say I'll go to war, I might not be able to do it. I like boxing, and I guess I like everything. But when I quit, I'll probably think that it was good at that time. I'm just imagining it, but if it happens, I'll probably be happy now. And I think I'm happy now, so I live every day, and that's it. How would you answer the question, what motivates you to continue boxing? Well, why do I continue boxing? Why am I boxing? When it comes to... They mainly aspire to be champions or excel in this field. There are people who love boxing. But what do you think, Mr. Yudai? When asked why you box, there are probably various reasons, like saying you want to become a world champion, or you want to make your family happy. I think there are various reasons, but I was really born and raised to do martial arts and I can't do anything else. I've never held a pencil and I've lived a life that's really like that. It's rare to be born and immediately devote yourself to one thing, isn't it? But I'm living that kind of life. So how far can I go? I want to know. How far can I, doing my best every day, make my dreams come true? Of course I want to become a world champion, but when I think bigger, it feels like that's the extent of it. It's a challenge for myself, wondering what I can become. Through boxing, if I quit boxing, it's still boxing. I'm no longer present in the industry. Is that so? I see. Do you have any hobbies? I probably haven't thought that far, but if I retire, for example, do you want your own gym or do you want to train your own players? Anything like that? Have you thought about it? I like my hometown, so I have an interest in returning to my hometown. I do have such an interest. Young professionals struggle to survive without part-time jobs. I've been making coffee for about 3 years now. It's not a restaurant per se, but a cafe. Where it would be nice if it could be quiet, but it's not peaceful at all, is it?
Book.
If you can carefully explain it in a quiet place at home. Do you live in the city now, in Tokyo? I live near myself in Tokyo. It's not very busy, but there are people wherever you go. Do you dislike it? You do dislike it, don't you? After all, that's how it is. In India, you typically don't leave your house, right? I like nature. I really love nature. I'm craving for nature, aren't I? Are you more of a mountain person than the sea? I prefer mountains over the sea. How long have you been living in the city after moving to Tokyo? I've been out since I was about 18, so it's been almost 10 years.
Mouth.
I mean, when you say you're used to it after 10 years, you think you're used to it. But it's still a bit tough, isn't it? I got used to it. I got used to it. And I went to the Philippines for about 2 weeks, as I mentioned earlier. But compared to the Philippines, it's really, well, it's like a mouthful, right? I've never been to the Philippines, but it's a variety. Are you looking forward to the meal? I've made the meal.
Riho.
And I've had meals made by this person and I've eaten at his restaurant, but either way, it's delicious. A person who can make delicious food is wonderful. And that's why I fell in love with the Philippines. But anyway, it's a street view, isn't it? The street view is a bit dirty, though. Compared to Tokyo, the Middle East is not as urban as Tokyo, but it's not rural either. But the thing I like the most is reading books. That's why I want to go back to my hometown. When it comes to top fights, the Ikeda family's brand is strong, isn't it? Various boxers appear as guests, but still, it's not enough, not enough. I have the impression that the Ikeda brand is strong, but that's not the reality. The Ikeda brand, in a negative way, Bad things are often said, but I quite like it, Daiki-san also appeared on the channel once, and his story was quite interesting. Yasutaro-san and Daiki-san are good people, like me. I've been reading Yasutaro-san's books since elementary school reading time. I've been influenced by those who have been doing so since then, and I'm happy to be able to box with them. But there are also places where I'm aiming too high, isn't it?
That
It's not a big deal, but it's not something you can ignore, right? I don't care about the opinions of such people. I don't care at all. I'm not interested in what they think of me.
Oga.
I don't care what they say. I feel like telling them to shut up. I'm not interested in brands, etc. I'm trying not to care, you know. When I look at what I'm doing now, I realize I'm not doing anything wrong.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I'm trying to uplift the boxing world and I'm doing something wonderful. I think there are people who can't forget the past. People who can't forget are everywhere. And if they say what I've done now was good, there are probably things that aren't so.
I think
I don't understand it well, but if I hadn't done that, there would be no psycho fight. So many boxers are grateful for it. That's right, that's right. It's not all bad. Those who say it is simply don't understand. It's best to adopt this perspective moving forward.
come here.
You can't see anything but the thin surface of those who don't understand. It's better to think that they are such people. I said I don't watch boxing much, but I do watch players like Inoue Yuta a bit. What do you think of him as a boxer? He's already complete, but I think that's also the result of his and others' hard work. I really think so. It's hard to imagine the things he's doing. He's like a god, but he's not just talented and hardworking. Everyone else is too. Aren't you looking at Otani Hero like that? He's a god, but he's also a hard worker. Player Naoki Inoue had a match with Kim, and after the match, he announced his plans at a press conference, right? He said things like, he's gonna move up to the featherweight class by fighting Pickers, Alpha, and Daref, right? Do you think he will move up to the featherweight class within this year, and we will be able to see the usual strength of Naoki Inoue? Or do you think it's quite possible? That's a good question about the featherweight. When I think about it, I wonder if I can go on. I already think that we're all in this together. Don't you think it's time to stop blaming Inoue directly? Nobody thinks about it, and I think you can do it just like you do at the featherweight level. But it's not that simple to say that the level changes with each step, you know. I understand because I'm a boxer. For example, I'm already at the level of my gym senior, Kyoguchi-san. It's not like I just enjoyed losing weight to move up in class. I actually increased my muscle mass above my original weight and then cut down from there. So the amount of weight I had to cut didn't change. It's not just about moving up in class, it's about properly building your body for that class.
I will.
If I don't do that, I'll lose power, my punches won't affect my opponent, and even if I hit them cleanly, they won't go down. I can't get to the grand stage like that.
That's why
As I move up in rank, I feel like my opponent's punches are incredibly heavy. I feel like I'm gonna feel that way when I get to the top, but that's part of moving up in rank. After all, I'm a pro now, a pro among pros. Isn't that so? I think I'll just go ahead and do that. Gaining weight is a pretty difficult task, isn't it? To move up in rank, I have to gain weight, which I've never done before. Honestly, I'll probably understand when I move up to lightweight. With my current body, the amount I have to cut has gone from 10 kilos to 8, which has made things 2 kilos easier. If I had to do that, I think I'd be in serious trouble. That's why I'm working on building a body suitable for lightweight, and I can't avoid it. So, moving up from super bantamweight to featherweight is also necessary, I think. As for the featherweight class, I'm quite looking forward to it. There are several strong foreign fighters, and unlike super bantamweight, there are 4 champions, including the undisputed champion. If I want to unify the 4 organizations, I have to defeat each of the 4 champions one by one, which I think is incredibly interesting. I've already won all the titles, including the World Boxing Council and World Boxing Association in the super bantamweight division. I believe I can also collect all 4 titles in the featherweight class, which has many interesting varieties. The other players...
it's different.
The other champions are unaware, correct? Yes, as profound as Naru, right? I dislike it as much as Naru does. That's fine though. In the end, Nakatani and Iju are likely having the most enjoyment. What are your thoughts on that ultimately? Wow, even Nakatani-kun, yay. It's quite strong, isn't it? Deep well, is it strong? It's quite strong, isn't it? And somehow it's getting stronger and stronger. But in relation to that, it's getting increasingly difficult to do something in a good way. The length of your limbs is abnormal, isn't it? It's long, isn't it? That's abnormal, isn't it? I want to fight someone with a body type that doesn't exist. That's what I think. Punching with long arms and legs is a variety. Punching and hitting with long arms and legs, from the shoulder blades to the whole body, that's probably a punch. If you get hit, it's probably a heavy punch. I don't know. I can't understand it. Even if either one wins, it won't be strange. That's the kind of depth. Ah, no, I don't understand that. The more I say it, the more I want to see it. That's the feeling, isn't it? Ah, no, I think that's right. It's quite unexpected. Do you have a boxing style? Nakatani, why not? Isn't it unique? Probably because of that body type, there is that style. Especially since it's probably been done overseas from a young age. Isn't it Fuji? It's not a dormitory, but I live somewhere, right? Probably why. It's different from the current Japanese boxers. They are doing something different, aren't they? Is it a style that I was taught?
Or something like that.
I think it's probably different. Like when I was in middle school or a high school student. Then the things that Nakatani-kun was taught at the age of 15 and the things that Japanese boxers were taught are somehow different, aren't they?
I wonder.
From such a place, the roots are different. So depending on the country, there are various boxing styles, isn't it? I see. That's interesting. The way they teach in the Philippines is quite different from Japan, based on my 2-week camp experience there. The Filipino players, the way they teach in the Philippines, it's different, isn't it? I was taught by a trainer on a monthly basis, but if I were to put it in a sensory way, it's not about cutting the flesh and breaking the bones, but about eating while avoiding the opponent's back.
And
I'd like to try turning sideways and taking it a strong and aggressive style, and then eating and eating. I'll rush and attack, that's what I say, and it's different from Japanese boxing. The way things used to be done is no longer the case, you know. I went to the gym, but it's all about the gritty system, you know. That's right, isn't it? I guess I just like boxers that I like, whether they're there or not. Do you have a favorite style? I like this boxer's style. It's interesting to watch his matches, but no, I don't have a favorite. Excuse me.
So,
regarding that, it's a bit of this and that, but I think even if you ask my younger brother, he would say the same thing. I also like boxing.
my younger brother too.
I don't really watch boxing, I don't watch it. That's amazing. Are there more people who say they don't watch boxing at all? Or are there not many people who say they like boxing? Quite a lot of people like it, don't they? I think there are boxers, but from a young age, I was forced to watch boxing videos by my father. I've grown to dislike it since it's always on at night. I wonder who was watching it. Athlete Yasuri Hirao said the same thing. My father's a Mayweather fan. He would play all the matches, but not just play them. He would stop and rewind to show me what I should be looking at.
Because he would rewind it.
I grew tired of it. He forced me to watch it endlessly, so I got fed up. I'm a grade schooler who doesn't get headaches, you know. I don't get headaches, right? It's like homework at school, right? It was really a time I hated, to the point where it was a bit too much. I want to watch boxing, but I don't really watch it. I don't watch much of the boxer who is now the topic, Nelson Inoue, unless it's about him. As for people like Nakatani and Naoya Inoue, I can see them now. They are being picked up.
Player.
If the timing is right, you can see something from the player. Whoever it is today, I understand how you feel. Let's try to watch some of the matches that have been going on lately. Even saying let's try to watch is like practicing before going. I want to try to watch. Yes, just a bit. In terms of motivation, like, is there something to incorporate into today's practice, huh? Just a moment. It's a bit of a mean question, but when you announced this with Tenshin and Moro, the match was already over, so you're not thinking about that match, are you? But you all know that it's not really like that, don't you? I've seen Tenshin Natsukawa's matches in the past, and I've seen Morone's as well. There are quite a few people in the world who think that Tenshin is gonna win. But how do you feel about that? I mean, I think so too, but quite a bit. On one hand, even if you say it's one-sided, there are times when you can be hit back. Tenshin may also get hit, but isn't he becoming a problem solver in each and every match? That he has the strength of a champion, and I think he's probably solidified a style where he can utilize his own strength. With that kind of thinking, Moroni probably can't win. As of now, the trend is that Tenshin beats Moroni, and since Takei is also fighting Moroni, I think it will be a comparison there. But at this point, if Tenshin and Takei were to fight, who do you think has the advantage? Well, Takei has a strong punch, doesn't he? That's scary. So, who do you think it is? I think Tenshin will win. Really? As time goes by, Tenshin is getting better and better. I think his growth pace is faster, so the more time passes, the more advantageous it becomes for Tenshin. That's what I think anyway.
I think so.
But Takei is also quite unique in his thinking, isn't he? Somehow, that could be a weakness, and he might be easy to strategize against. Don't you think he has a unique way of thinking? I mean, anyone can say, I'll do this because of that in the ring, but it's probably impossible. But Tenshin's physical abilities are exceptional.
Combat.
Or should I say boxing skills? It seems like he's strategizing against Takada.
It is.
I mean, that's what I think. Even if you say that, what should I do? I think the player Takei is strong. It's still now, but quite a bit. I like hard punches. I really like hard punches. That's right, isn't it? When we get back to the story, you said you'd show me a boxing movie from your parents, but I really didn't want to see a 12-round match. I hate it. So when I became a pro boxer, I didn't want to think that way. It's interesting as you think about it. If you think it's a 12-round match, it's not bad, is it? That's why I'm desperately sticking to it. Is that the type you're aiming for? The type you're aiming for during the match? That's what it is, but recently it's not like that anymore. But I won't forget that I want to do it in my own way. I thought it was a long round for the children, so I will do that. Next, I think it's part of my job to make sure the customers don't think that way, so that's already compelling. Even if you weren't born, you'll be born again, or you won't. Showing that kind of fight is a professional job, isn't it? That's what I'm thinking now, because there are so many fans. Isn't it interesting to have a match? That's unusual, isn't it? You often knock down in the small, lightweight class. The power is in that class, and I've been told that during sparring, but there are things like that, but still. If you say it differently, anyone can fall if they are hit by an 8-tone voice.
Right? Well,
Well, that's right. But I think that's just the way it is. Is it a type? Or is that power not just accumulated? Or if you're told to sell sandbags from the 6 fists you were born with, you'll be 27. It's like a strong punch. That's the feeling. I don't think I'm particularly special. I've just been doing it because I have a career, and I think my punch is strong. I see. Well, I don't think anyone can acquire it. You have to be aware of it, or it's no good. I've been told a million times that my punch is weak, so what's that punch with a sandbag?
what's that?
If you're told that and you sit down, it won't happen. Doing it daily will make it stronger. My younger brother is also quite a character, really. Is your training style the same? All at once? I'm often told that it's similar to boxing, so that's why it's similar to a private boxing practice, I guess. Is your type also the worst? Mine totally is. Like a photo of 10 women. It's the worst when you're told this is your type, right? Is that private? It's not good to generalize, right? That sounds interesting. I think everyone knows that. As you may know, there will be a rematch at Psycho Fight Rush Boom 5 on March 30th for the minimum 100 last 100 title match. This rematch is already a career. This is the first time for a rematch, isn't it? So for this match, I spent about 2 weeks in a training camp in the Philippines. I mean, the match isn't over yet, so I don't think I can understand the effects of that training camp. But how do you feel about that camp, and how are you going to fight against Melvin in this rematch?
To fight.
Well, what I meant was that when I came back here, everything was in place and I could see something. I had to bring this practice back to Japan, right? I had to strengthen this place and fight like this, right? Going to the Philippines made me realize this a bit more. It was a good thing I went. This is a rematch from a year ago. But it's not like I've been undefeated until now, right? How did it feel when you lost as a pro for the first time? It was really regrettable. I seriously thought about quitting. I thought about quitting, but the next day I wasn't thinking about it anymore.
Yes.
That's pretty fast, isn't it? From what I heard, he's really positive. That day was just about settling down, not settling down, and it's over. It's like my boxing life. I fell, but I got used to doing it again the next day. As I got used to it, I collected highlights by looking back at the footage of the match with Melvin Jules from here. I want to analyze it by looking back at it with Mr. Hideo. But is it okay? I don't want to lose.
By the way,
did you see the match? Did you see it? I've seen it several times. You didn't like it, did you? You really don't like looking back, do you? How long after the match ends? How long? It's been recent. Is it really recent? It's almost recent. I haven't seen it for a year. I haven't seen it. Is this video good? Wow, I couldn't react at all. The right side is hard to see and shows little motion, which is frustrating. It's a straightforward shot, just like this one, right? It's pretty good. They saw the situation after the down, but got another here. I really don't want it here. Seriously, probably.
that
Whether it's flowing in a bit, I don't know somehow. Ryuku.
out.
Is my brother going to get in second? Probably. Does he get in every time? He also gets in second occasionally. That's nice, right? That's mutual. It's completely different from other people. Brothers.
Because
I know the good and the bad about him. I know his strengths and weaknesses. From the ring, I can tell what he's thinking, and I can understand his troubles because we're brothers. Sometimes it's a bit tough when he's not around, isn't it? My younger brother has entered the 2nd grade, and without him. It's rare, but there are times when we compete in the same tournament. What do you do at those times? My younger brother usually fights first, and then I go into the ring. He's in my corner at that time. I'm pretty sure it can't be the other way around. That's just how it is. That's a story that makes everyone want to cheer for you. It's refreshing to see brothers working hard together. I always want to keep pushing and become a champion. I think we're always moving forward. We've started sparring, and it's quite hard training, but I think we can show you that we're always leveling up. I'm looking forward to it. Excuse me. Thank you for your time today. There were times when I wanted to look back and give up, but I kept going. I'm not too fond of those moments, but well, after this, I'm going to do 12 rounds of sparring. I watched some boxing and got motivated, but I want to start training soon.
yeah, right.
I'm done. Thank you very much. There's a link to Yudai's Instagram in the description box, so everyone please follow him and support him. Thank you. Nakai-chan, thank you very much. Thank you very much.